go to sleep again, and I woke up, and it was a little after 3 o'clock, and I said, no, I'm going to still keep trying to go to sleep. So I sat here, and then it was, I don't know, it was about 15, 20 after 3, something like that. I looked at the clock again, and it had only been like maybe 10 minutes. So I said, well, I can't fall asleep, so I'm just going to get up and turn the TV on. And so I tried for like a half an hour, and like every 5 to 7 minutes or so, I kept opening my eyes and look at the clock, and I tried to go to sleep again. I'd open my eyes, look at the clock, and I did that like 4 times in a half an hour. And I guess, because one of the pills I take at night is that it's called antryptyline. It's a prescription, from the doctor. And what it does is it doesn't put me to sleep, but it relaxes my body and makes it easier for me to go to sleep, to sleep. And I take that at night. That's one of my, pills I take like an hour before I go to bed. And then, after about an hour, my body lets me know that it's ready to go to sleep. So, then I get in bed and go to sleep. So that helps me sleep at night. And during the daytime, I don't take it. So, it's hard for me to sleep during the daytime, which is your nighttime. So, I really try. But, it was about, 15, 20 after 3, and I said, well, I'm just going to, stay awake, turn my TV on, get on my computer, whatever and stuff. And then, your camera and my camera and everything's off right now, but I turned your camera on to see, that you were, doing okay and everything, because it had been like almost an hour since since we had said goodnight and stuff. And I figured, well, I'll just, turn it on to see, how you're doing or whatever and stuff. And I turned it on, and you're sitting there eating. And it was like 3:30 in the morning. You were sitting there, and I seen you sitting there eating. So I said, well, obviously she's doing okay. So I turned it back off and, laid it down and said, yep, she's doing okay. She's eating. Because that was around 3:30 in the morning, your time. Oh, you left. So I had turned it on after you had come back, and you were sitting there eating it. So, ah, I know when we said goodnight, you had said you had forgot to buy bread, and I figured, well, you'll just, after your night's sleep or whatever, you'd get up and, buy some bread. But no, you had to have it before you went to sleep. Yeah. Yeah. So, like, I know you don't have to go very far to buy your bread and stuff, but is a lot of those places, markets or whatever stuff, are they open all the time? Do they never close at all? So some of them are open 24/7. Now I know some places close, but but there's a lot of places they're just open, you know, around the clock. They never ever close. Yeah, we've got a store here, one store that I know of. It's Myers. It's a great big, huge, grocery store. It's and I mean they're all over the United States, and it's they're open 24/7, but that's the only place in town that is, as far as where you can go and buy groceries. Now there's like some gas stations that they sell, certain grocery items like maybe bread, loaves of bread, or like cans, different cans of, but they don't have a lot of groceries, you know, but they have a few things in the gas stations themselves. But it's not like going into a grocery store where you can buy anything you want. They just have select items in the gas stations. So, but we got the one store, but huh? I'm sorry, what? Where I live, the closest place is where I work, which is, you know, if I would walk, from here to work, it would take me less than 15 minutes. Because when I walk to work, it's going uphill. Not a steep hill, but it's up. It's not like flat, but it goes up a little bit. So if I walk home, then I'm walking downhill. So it's easier to walk home because it's downhill to where I live. So to walk because I have walked in the past, it takes me about 15 minutes to walk to work, but it only takes me 10 minutes to walk home because as I'm walking, it's going downhill, so you're stepping faster so that you're not falling over because you're stepping so fast going down the hill. So it takes me 5 minutes less time to get home. So now, like geez, it's 28 after already. Geez. Um, no, I'm not leaving yet. But now, what I was trying to explain to you is before is the recording right now. Now, right before I get ready to walk out the door, before I get ready to move the camera, stop the recording. Not yet, but when I get ready to move the camera, stop the recording, and then once I move it, then you can start the recording again. That way you would have two videos in one day. Yeah, so right before I move the camera, stop recording. Then once I have the camera in the window, start recording again. That way you'll get two videos in one day. So yeah, I looked at, like I have YouTube on both of my phones. So, it's right there in the red, there in the corner, the red, right, right there, so I click on it and I don't watch them or anything, but I just go into you, and, view channel, and then see it brings everything up, that you've posted and stuff. I don't watch any of them, but I just look at, what you posted and stuff. And actually, like there was one you posted an hour ago, an hour ago. And so, yeah, well, what I will do is, which, email I used, for mine, because I had to give it to you and stuff. But I can use a different one. Like I could create another YouTube using my Yahoo email, because the one on this account Gmail is my Gmail account. So I could I could make a new one with Yahoo, and then I could watch the videos on there. I would just add, you know, then I could watch it and stuff, and and then then they would, then YouTube would not know that it's me watching and stuff. So I can do that, or or just I just look at what you posted. And stuff. I don't click on them and watch them or nothing. Well, I did that one time, that very first time, and you said, well, no, you can't do that because YouTube doesn't want you watching what you post. So I did the one video, and watched, just a few, not even a whole minute of it, and then I stopped, and I told you that I had started watching, and they said, oh no, you said, no, you can't do that. So I said, okay. So I don't, I haven't watched any since. So now all the ones